Welcome back to the Siege Breakdown. Today I'll be going through 6 operators that I would recommend for beginners and talk about how their gadgets work, and also I'll be covering the secondary gadgets you can find in the game. There's currently 76 operators in the game, and each of them have their own unique gadgets. These gadgets can be grouped into a few categories like Trapper, Intel, and Map Control, to name a few. The first attacking operator I would recommend is Lion. Lion is an Intel and Map Control operator equipped with an EE1D which sends a scan when activated. If any defending operator moves during the scan, they will be pinged up to 3 times. It's essentially like the game red light, green light. So if you're a defender and you hear this noise, do not move during the scan phase if you don't want to be pinged. You can use Lion scans in a number of ways. One way is when you want to enter an area of the map, you may want to use the Lion scan to see if there are any possible enemies nearby. Just a side note, if you don't get any pings, it doesn't necessarily mean that the area is clear. Another way to use Lion is when you coordinate a push with your team. If your team is about to push in the objective, you should use your Lion scan to spot out any defenders running away. For example, if Fuse has prepped Fuse charges and is about to set them off, it might be a good idea to also Lion scan at the same time to catch any operators running away from the Fuse charges. You can also utilize the EE1D with Lion's secondary gadget, the Frag or Stun Grenade. This works sort of the same way as coordinating with Fuse, but instead you can use the same strategy on your own. The second attacking operator I would recommend is Thermite. Having a hard breach operator is quite crucial in Siege, so it's a good idea to get confident with hard breaching when you're learning the game. Thermite is equipped with 3 exothermic charges. These charges are able to open up any walls, both hard and soft, but I would avoid using them on soft walls because reinforced walls have higher priority, and there may be other operators on your team that can open up soft walls instead. The way you would use Thermite sort of depends on your attacking strategy, but as a very broad statement, you should use your exothermic charges on the reinforced walls surrounding the objective. The reason is because it allows your team more ways to enter the site. So rather than just relying on the doors where defenders can very easily lock on and deny entry, opening the wall puts more pressure on the defenders and gives you more options. Pretty simple to begin with, but there are so many ways to utilize Thermite and other hard breaching operators in the game, which you'll learn as you play. The biggest note I will give about Thermite and his exothermic charges is that they do deal damage. Another thing you should know is that if there is electricity or a mute jammer on the wall, you won't be able to open up the wall unless you get rid of the conflicting gadget. You can do this by having someone on your team play Thatcher, for example, or by destroying the gadget. And the last attacking operator I would recommend is Buck. Buck is equipped with a skeleton key, which is an underbarrel mounted shotgun. So Buck essentially has an assault rifle and a shotgun. The skeleton key allows Buck to open up hatches and non-reinforced walls easily. So you might be wondering, why would you do those things? Well, you can open up soft walls to help your team in entering the map. For example, when attacking the 3rd floor bomb site in Cafe, a lot of players will rappel up to the roof and gain access there. But you need an operator that is able to open up the hatches because jumping down the skylight is a dangerous option. You can also use it to make vert holes to help your team gain the objective, especially when the objective is in the basement, for example. But generally speaking, Buck can offer a number of ways to enter the map and objective room. Now let's talk defenders, and the first one I'd recommend is Lesion. When an attacker is in the radius of a Lesion goo mine, it will activate and jab them with a toxin and take off 5 damage. Then after every 2 seconds, the goo mine will cause 12 damage. So if you're an attacker, be sure to take these out as soon as possible, but also when you think it's safe to do so. I really love Lesion and trap operators in general, not only because their gadgets can deal damage and get me a kill sometimes, but also if you place them strategically, they can actually give you intel on where these attackers are coming from. Goo mines are visible and also destructible, so try and hide them in places where you think attackers will be pushing from, but also are not out in the middle of the room. Here are some examples of where I would put goo mines. The next defender I would suggest is Kapkan. Kapkan is equipped with 5 entry denial devices that you can put on doors and window frames. Other than providing possible intel, these gadgets can also sometimes grant you a cheeky kill. And the last defending operator I would recommend is Rook. Rook is equipped with armor plates, and these provide a boost in health when worn. It also gives players a second chance if they are downed by bullets. This doesn't include headshots. When you're downed, you usually need to wait for a teammate to come and pick you up, but if you are downed and wearing Rook armor, you can pick yourself up. Just remember, if you do play Rook, drop your armor as soon as prep phase starts so it gives your teammates time to pick it up and equip the armor before the round begins. Now let's move on to the secondary gadgets you can find in Siege. Attackers and defenders are able to equip one secondary gadget alongside their unique gadget. So let's go through the attacker's secondary gadgets first. The breach charge can only open up soft walls, so these are hatches, walls that haven't been reinforced, and it can also be used to open up castle barricades. Claymores are devices used almost like flank watch or placed in areas you think defenders will run out of. If a defender runs through the lasers, the claymore will go off and kill them. Frag grenades can be used in a number of ways, like clearing out gadgets and rooms. Hard breach charges are devices that can open up reinforced walls to grant you entry. They only open up a small portion of the wall, so I wouldn't rely on these as your only form of hard breaching. Smoke grenades shoot out a smoke cloud, which is often used for cover when entering a site or cover when you are planting the diffuser. Glaz and smoke grenades go really well together as it helps with his unique ability. Impact EMP grenades are neat little devices. These are able to deactivate defender gadgets for a time and are often used to help open a reinforced wall if Thatcher is not on the team. And now for the defender secondary gadgets. Barbed wire is useful to slow down attackers and also provide an audio cue if someone is pushing that area. Attackers can choose to walk through the barbed wire, which will cause 5 damage every second they're in it, or they can choose to melee it. So places I would recommend are staircases and also under windows. Bulletproof cameras are useful equipment that can provide a lot of information, and you can actually use it to send out an EMP burst to deactivate attacking drones. If you're an attacker, you can melee the bulletproof camera to destroy the feed or shoot the sides of the camera to get rid of it. Deployable shields are bulletproof shields that help provide cover. They're good if you play behind them because you can see through the slits of the shield, but the attacker is unable to see you. The most common area people would place them are in doorways, as it forces the attackers to vault over them, which make them a little bit vulnerable. Observation blockers are gadgets that disrupt your drone feed, so they're useful if you want to hide your setup, for example. But keep in mind, attackers can drone around them very easily. But these are still useful for drone holes and doorways. Impact grenades are devices that explode on impact. These are usually used with sites set up, like making a rotate hole or opening hatches. They can also be used to destroy defender gadgets like ace charges, make shield attackers vulnerable, and sometimes even get you a kill. Nitro cells are a throwable gadget that explodes when detonated. You can use these to get you a kill by throwing the nitro cell towards the attacking operator, or sometimes they're pre-placed somewhere in the map where you think attackers will be coming from. Proximity alarms are useful intel gadgets that make a noise when an attacker is in the radius. The best places for these alarms are staircases and doorways. And that's a wrap. Next episode, I'll be covering communication and callouts.